Hello, you guys. I am just looking online and say that we are live. I just want to check all of the different platforms to make sure we are live. Let's see. Okay, perfect. I see me on my page. Toya, can you see your page? Let's see. Okay,
Yes,
yeah,
I can.
we got it working. I can see you. I can see you. I can see you.
Okay, perfect.
All right, let me just check my YouTube channel and see if it's live there too. And it is. Okay, perfect. So let's get it. So, hello, and welcome to Unfiltered Tea with Citi and Cheryl. You guys, we are super excited that you are here on today. And well, not today, but tonight. And we're always excited, y'all. And guess what? We finally got that thing figured out. Okay. It took us
Yeah.
3 episodes to get it figured out, but we got it figured out, you guys. And so, as you guys come in the room, let us know where you guys are tuning in from on tonight. We are here tonight and we got an amazing topic that we're going to talk about on tonight, and it is called the refining season. But before we talk about that, let me, of course, introduce myself. My name is Cheryl Mazik, and I am the CEO and creator of Ladies of Faith Over Fear. And Ladies of Faith Over Fear, we help women to heal from trauma from the inside out with workbooks, online courses, events, and amazing community and all natural health and wellness products. One of our products that we have is our amazing detox tea. This right here. It's called the Core Cleanse Tea, and it helps to make sure your gut and GI tract is working properly. And so we're gonna just talk a little bit about that on tonight. But that's who I am. That's what I do, and I'm going to pass it over to my beautiful co-host, Citi, where she can come on up and introduce herself and get this party started on tonight.
Hello, hello, hello. Good evening to each and every one of you. My name is Toya Citizen, aka Coach City. I am a 9 to 5 aspiring entrepreneur coach. I help the 9 to 5 aspiring entrepreneur, at a foundational level. I help them to see what's causing them to truly not be able to be successful in their business. And 9 times out of 10, the number one thing is they're not keeping God first and their foundation is not solid, where they're dealing with procrastination, they're dealing with not having someone to hold them accountable. So I help them at that level, so when they get to the next level, they can actually truly be able to hear from with a different set of ears when the $1 million coaches are talking to them, and they don't have a spirit of offense because they've gone through a healing process with Cheryl. They've come through a coaching process to be held accountable and to really get them in a place where, hey, it's okay if you hit reset. It's okay. Just don't quit, because the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but for those that endure to the end. So I give them that encouragement, but also some tough love as well, just to get them in that place of saying, hey, you're not quitting on nobody else. You're quitting on yourself, and don't do that. You owe you to fight for you in this season. It's got to be a you versus you season, so you can see truly what God has for you. And that's what I do for them. So, Cheryl, I'm going to go ahead and hand it back off to you. We've already talked about this several times. I'm not going to throw a baton to you because we know that you didn't play sports and you don't catch. You probably would not be able to catch it. So, let me just graciously hand it over to you, okay?
Whatever. We're not gonna go there tonight. Okay. Just because I have played sports. Okay. Just because I didn't play the sports that you desired for me to play, don't mean I did not. I ran track. All right. I was a cheerleader.
It's not
Okay.
sport.
Girl, please. Yes, it was. It was. It required physical activity, physical movement. So it was a sport. Okay. And I
Okay.
was in a band. All right. And being in a band, it definitely is a workout. All
Did you
right.
play the clarinet or the flute?
I ain't even
You
tell you.
can couldn't
I'm
hear,
not gonna
right?
even tell you. How you just gonna say I the clarinet or the flute? You just say that that's what I played. But you're right. I played clarinet. The clarinet was my instrument. Okay. But on tonight, you guys, we are excited about this topic because it has come up quite a few times. And I was having a conversation with somebody probably a couple of weeks ago, and the woman who I was speaking with, she was like, Cheryl, just please don't define who I am because of the season that I am in. And so a lot of times when we meet people, we define who they are by the season that they walk into our life on, right? And sometimes when somebody walk into your life or come into your life, it may be a broken season. It may not be that season of them being healed, them being truly walking in their purpose, them being, living as their authentic self. It may be that broken season. And so for me, I encounter a lot of people that are in that broken season, because what I help women to heal, and they're in that place where, okay, I'm at that breaking point, right? I'm at the most vulnerable place that I could possibly be in my life, and um, what I had to go through the process of seeing people grow. And because of who I am, because of the coaching that I do, I understand that people are going to grow. They're not going to stay in that broken place if they're willing to do the work. And so we was talking, Toya and I was talking the other day, and I was like, Toya, it's just so profound. Like, I've heard this more than one time in the last 90 days, like the process of silver, the process of gold, the refining process of silver, and the refining process of gold, and how it's a very strenuous process in order to get something that is so precious, right? Gold is still a top commodity in this day and time in 2026. When you read your Bible, gold and silver was a commodity back years ago. And so that means that it has a lot of what word I want to say. It has a lot of substance to what it is and a lot of value to what it is. When you're thinking about gold and thinking about silver. And so on tonight, we're gonna break down, we're gonna talk about the process, and then of course we're gonna entwine it with what it looks like in the natural sense of going through the process of being refined. And so when I did some research, it talked about four different steps. Okay. In the first step, it says the metal is pulled from a raw place before it can be refined. Gold and silver do not come out polished, they come out mixed with dirt, rocks, and other material. This is just like us, right? Sometimes God has to pull us out of old environments, old mindsets, old habits, and old identities before he can begin the deep work. All right. So before God refines you, he often has to separate you from what buried you. So, Toya, let's break that down. Break that down, my sister. Your thoughts on what I just spoke about on the
You just
refinement.
said that it's pulled from a raw state, right?
Mm-hmm,
The dirt and everything else, right?
mm-hmm.
And tell me the other part about it.
Okay, so I'll read it one more time. So the metal is pulled from a raw place before it can be refined. Gold and silver do not come out polished. They come out mixed with dirt, rocks, and other material. And so that's just like us, right? Sometimes God has to pull us out of old environments, old mindsets, old habits, and old identities before he can begin the deeper work within us.
Yeah, absolutely. And exactly what you said, just like God does us. And when God pulls us from those places like that, see, other people would look at you and be like, they ain't gonna be nothing, she ain't gonna be nothing, he ain't gonna be nothing because you're dirty. You got all mixed up, you got some different things going on with you. So I don't see the value in you, because how could you be something you're not polished yet? You're still loud, you're still ghetto, you're still drinking a little bit, you're still smoking a little bit, you're still cussing a little bit. So I'm sanctified, I'm dignified. So right now I've already been through the process, and so I forgot where I came from. So I don't see, I can't see how you can be used. And that's what happens with a lot of people. They throw people away. They're quick to be judgmental on something. Just like I was talking about the coins last week. We look at certain coins that we think is not valuable, that penny still spin. And when you get to a store and your total is $2.52 and you left the 2 pennies on the ground because you didn't think they was worth nothing until you needed, because your total was 252, and the cashier say, I can't let you take this because it's 252 and my register can't come up short and I don't have it. So I got to use, you're gonna have to use what you got or go get something different, or you got to spend some more because those 2 pennies are required. It's the same thing with our process. People think that when they see you in a broken state or going through something, because they see that at that moment, they can't see how God could really use you and how you really could be cleaned up and polished. And so that's what I have on that part right now, because I don't want to get wind up. I don't want to get wound up too much right now. This save it. We'll save it. Don't get me all cranked up. Get me winding me up like a jack in the box.
Well,
I go like
why do you know? Because we got 4 processes to go through.
yeah. So I'm
For
gonna
this
just hold myself together.
But God can use anybody. God can use a baby. God can use, I've seen this video a couple of times, this homeless man, and he is dropping some gems to people about God and just about how life can turn you upside down. And he can use anybody that is willing to be used as a vessel, right? And so you just can't, don't look at the messenger to receive the message, right? You just
Yeah.
never know when and where God is going to speak. All right. So, number 2 says, the fire exposes what cannot stay. When silver or gold is heated, the impurities begin to separate. The fire does not destroy the value of the metal, it reveals what's mixed in it, right? So the refining season does not mean that you are not valuable. It means that God is exposing what cannot go with you into your next season. Okay. And so that could be um whatever. Hold on, let me go back. The fire does not destroy the value of the metal. So another example, I've always seen this example too, right? So there's $100 bill, and the person crumbles up the $100 bill, and he asks the person, do you still want this $100? And they say, yeah, I still want it. Stump on the $100 bill. Do you still want the $100? Yep, I still want it. Cut the edges off the bill. Do you still want the $100? Yes, I still want it, because the value of it is what? It's still $100. It don't matter what state it went through. It went through a lot of different states, but it still has the same value. And that's just like us. Like, we go through so many different things, all the different traumas that we experience, our life traumas, different exposures to different situations. And it may take us down at a point, but it still doesn't define our value of who we are. We are children of the Most High, right? And so we are kings and queens in the kingdom of God. It does not destroy our value, but sometimes when we are in a broken state, we don't recognize that we're still valuable. We still can be used. And so we have to understand that even though you go through the fire, you can go through the fire and come out the fire and not smell like fire, not smell like you have been burnt, right? So, Toya, I'm going to read it one more time and then I'll have you expound on it. Number 2 says, the fire exposes what cannot stay. When silver or gold is heated, the impurities begin to separate. The fire does not destroy the value of the metal, it reveals what's mixed in it. So it's going to pull out what you already have inside of you. But go ahead and expound on it, my sister.
Yeah, like you said, the fire. So when God comes into your life, and that's, you got that Holy Ghost fire now upon your life. The Holy Ghost is working on you and through you, and so now it's going to be some things that again is going to expose. It's going to show, hey, look, some of these old friends, some of these relationships that you might be in, some of these things that you're doing, you can't do it anymore because
Mm-hmm.
it cannot stay. I'm trying to get you to another level, and no matter what, whatever, whenever you're trying to go to another level, you are not going to be able to bring everybody with you. A lot of times we want to, and that's our heart. If you have a good heart and you love your friends and your family, but that pressure, everything that starts when you start being transformed, I think that people start to be exposed because now you start to have spirits of jealousy. People show you who they really are, and even though you may get stumped on, you may get beat up in the process, you get lied on, you get talked about. You have people saying they remember you when, I remember her when she did this and how she gonna be this and that. But God looks at you like, I remember when she was stomped up, she was beat up, she was crinkled up, she was in a place doing whatever she may have been doing. But because I put something on the inside of her, she's still valuable to me. Now you may
Mm-hmm.
not think that she worth anything, but she's still valuable to me, and I want her. Yes, I do. As long as she want me, I want her. As long as he want me, I want him. But regardless, it's not even if you don't want them, he still wants you regardless. He
Mm-hmm.
wants you regardless. And I really do see now when God exposes can't go, I'm okay with it now. I'm in a season where I will back up completely, and I've started just being quiet with things. And I see people, I see them. You see, like the change. You see the attitude. You see the lack of support. You see the lack of. You can feel the change, right? You can feel it, and you recognize that. Hey, God doing something in me. You see it. You don't like it, but He sees it and He likes it. And I realize that you just can't go. Everybody can't go. Like Brandy said, everybody can't go,
Everybody
and
cannot
we
go.
have to be okay. Shout out to B, our other sister, but we just have to be okay with that process of
Mm-hmm.
knowing that everybody can't go. And when you see it, back in the day, I used to be concerned with who would be, can we get everybody? Y'all just don't see it. Everybody got to go, but no, because everybody can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have to be willing to go through what you're going through, and if they're not willing to go through the same process, because you have some people they just along for the ride.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do no work. You got the work part. And you go through all of that. You can go through all the tears and the crying and the getting beat up, and you can do all that. I'm gonna hide behind the scenes. I'm just gonna hide behind you. And then whenever you get to another level and you make it to whatever level of success, as it would say, Maslow's hierarchy of success. Once you get to that level of success, then because I'm associated with you, I feel like I'm gonna be exposed and to be my time to shine. No, you don't get that because you didn't do the work. You can't hide behind things and get the glory and you ain't got no story.
Mm-hmm.
It work like that.
Yeah, you're right. But a lot of people
Oh,
want to get glory, but don't have the story. They don't want to go through it. Like people don't want to go through it. And so in the comments, y'all, I want y'all to put that everybody cannot go. Put that in the comments if you guys are still watching. Everybody cannot go because in that second process, God is exposing what and who cannot go into your next season. All right. So that is process number 2. All right. The third process of it, it says the impurities rise so they can be removed. During refinement, unwanted materials come to the surface or separate from the precious metals so they can be removed. So, spiritually, this can look like God dealing with fear, dealing with pride, dealing with trauma pleasing, dealing with insecurities, or with survival habits, right? So, how many times have you went through something and you like, oh my God, I'm experiencing some of these things. Fear. What about the fear of success? Fear of failure? Like those things are real. Like when you're going through the process of being an entrepreneur, like I want to be this entrepreneur. I'm being pulled outside of my comfort zone, but that fear is starting to hit me like, oh, the fear is choking me, right? Some people really do have the fear of success. Like that fear of success of being the most successful person in your family. I'm telling you, it comes with a heavy cost when you are the one that is the most successful in your family. Because everybody pulling on you. Everybody like, oh, she got it. Oh, he got it. Oh, yeah, this is my favorite cousin. Oh, this is my favorite big brother. Or this is my favorite little brother. This is my favorite big sister. Look, all these different things, right? You go somewhere, people expect you as the successful one to take care of everything. Just
Yeah.
because you have it doesn't mean that you are obligated to do that. And so that fear of success, the pride. Oh, pride is a big one that comes out. Trauma responses. Like when you don't heal and somebody hit a trigger, it can take you to the next level in the wrong direction. So that's one of those things that come out in that refining process, right? The unwanted stuff. Like you could have been a person where when you were a kid, all you heard was no. So when you hear no as an adult, it takes you to a place that you don't want to go to. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why you have to handle those things. You have to really take those things into consideration and deal with those things throughout the refining process, right? Because as you're going through that process for God to mend you and to refine you into where He wants you to be. Like when somebody see you, oh, I see God within you. But when somebody see you and they see pride within you, that's not God. When somebody see you and they see that lustful spirit that may be in you, that's not God. So, sis, let me read it again so you can expunge on it. Number 3 is the impurities rise so they can be removed. So, during the refinement, unwanted material come to the surface or separate from precious material so they can be removed spiritually. This can look like God dealing with fear, with pride, with trauma responses, unforgiveness, people pleasing, insecurities, or survival habits, right? So let's talk about it.
Absolutely. So when you say things rising to the top, that's like when it just made me think automatically of fasting. When we go into a place of fasting and prayer, if you don't fast, then you may not know, but it should be something that we do regularly, and we are coached and taught with our spiritual leader to fast often. And because the fasting part exposes what needs to come out,
Mm-hmm.
because when you're trying to accomplish something, you will start to see, okay, do I still have this in me? Do I still have that in me? And I need to, and God may make you repeat stuff, it may make you take another lap, but
Mm-hmm.
that exposure is going to show you, hey, look, you need to deal with this. I have my daily struggles of things, and when I fast in a particular area, then I'm like, okay, I still got to work on this because God is showing me that. It's like, hey, I still see this. You still going through this. Okay, so now let's go ahead. We need to. I'm exposing this for you because I want to give you something new. I want to do something for you, but I want to make sure that we get all of this stuff out of the way before we finish processing you. It's at the top. You see it. Other people see it, but I'm gonna kind of give you a warning just so you can see it first,
Mm-hmm.
and let you kind of get that out the way before other people start calling it out. And that's what I have on it.
Yep. And we also have to understand that what comes up in the fire is not coming up to shame you. It's
Yeah.
coming up so God can heal it, so God can remove it and free you from it.
Hmm.
And I want to expound on what my sister said, like taking another lap. That's a real thing. That is a real thing, y'all. When you feel like you just keep going through the same season, is because you hadn't taken what you need to take out of that season
Yeah.
to turn away from that thing, right? That's just like repenting and going back and doing the same thing over and over. You're going to continue to take the same lap, the same lap, the same lap, different year, different season, same lap. So for
Yeah,
me in my life, I'm like, I don't want to go every season I went through. I don't want to go through them seasons no more.
not at all, not one.
I don't want to go back through them seasons. Like, Lord, show me what I need to see.
Yeah, what am I supposed to be learning in this season so I can get this out the way and go? Look, we trying to jump the Mario worlds. I'm trying to go to another level.
Yes, I'm trying to go. So, like with Mario, for example, that's the truth. Like back in the day when I was playing Mario, baby, I used to be so intense. Do-do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do, trying to get to that next level with the princess. Like, princess, I need you to jump up on this doggone flag pole. But if you didn't get to that next level, guess what? It took you back to the beginning
Look,
of that level, and you had to master that level before you can go to the next level. And so that is just like us. Like if we don't master that thing that God is trying to reveal to us, that God is trying to show us, then we will keep going back to the end of that pole and still not getting on that pole and have to go back to the beginning of that level. So I want you guys to put in the comments, I need to learn, and ask God what it is. No, that's too long. Show me, God, what I need to learn in this season. Put that in the comments. Show me,
look,
God, what I need to learn in this season.
it made me think about you remember like when we played, so we talking about Nintendo, for those of you that might be a little older or may not
Yes, I
remember
don't know, child.
Mario. We're talking about Mario World. But you remember how you would have sometimes when you running, you would have to go back and you try to hit maybe A to have that speed so you could jump and try to get the flag. And sometimes so you could jump on that pole. And once you got on that pole, it would allow you to come down and you have all your points, right? And then that let you know that you're going to the next level. But sometimes with us in the real world, we'll be running so hard. We'll go back a little bit and we'll start running and we try to jump just like I was in Mario World, and then you come up short. You come up short, and then guess what? Now you got to start all over again. But when you started all over again, you wasn't starting over with ignorance. You wasn't
Mm-hmm.
starting over with ignorance because now you were familiar with what was coming. You were familiar with where you needed to jump here. You were familiar with what was going to come out here. You were familiar with the things, with some of the attacks of the enemy, right? So it made it a lot easier for you to go through that word, and you got a little more strength, and you got stronger, and you got a little bit wiser. And then eventually, because you realized you learned, you mastered it, you learned what you needed to learn, you learned the world. That's because now you learning the word. Now you picking up the principles in the word, and you know how to fight differently. Now you know how to diplomatically go in the spirit and come against some things. So now, I had to take another lap, but now I'm coming fighting differently. I'm coming out. I'm coming through this thing smarter, wiser, stronger. And I'm not playing no games in this season. And now this time I'm about to power up, and then I'm gonna jump and I'm on that pole. And I got it. I got the flag now. Now go ahead and take me to the next level. Because
That
I'm
part.
ready.
Come
Go
on.
ahead. And
Come on, sis. Because it's power in learning things, and this is a thing too, y'all. When you keep hitting that brick wall, you have to ask God, like, change whatever it is that I'm doing. Because I don't want to hit this brick wall no more.
right.
But apparently, a lot of people like hitting that brick wall. Because they gonna keep on and keep on and keep on and keep on. But for me, I'm like, God, I don't want to miss no more blessings in this season. Teach me what I need to learn so that I can draw closer to thee, so that I
Sis,
can get to know who I am in your kingdom, so I can go into the spirit realm and fight. Because this is the thing, y'all. We're in a physical world, but what does the Bible say, sis? We don't fight against flesh and blood, right? What do we fight against, sis?
principalities and rules of darkness of this world.
Absolutely. And so that means we have
Wickedness in
to
high
learn how to,
places.
yes, and we have to learn how to fight in the spirit, y'all. See, a lot of times, us as people, we die what because of lack of knowledge.
That's what the
Lack of
Bible says.
knowledge.
My people perish for lack of knowledge. You just
Absolutely.
said something about people being older. I mean, people taking these keep going through the same thing and hitting the wall over and over again. And the crazy thing is, it's like if you continuously gone through, I wonder, you wonder sometimes, like you're not tired of going through that. You're not tired, and I can tell you, this got you when you just said that. It made me think about something. I can remember at one point in my life, and I was just like, man, I feel, and I just literally just ministered on this, and I was like, I'm making the money, I'm doing well, I'm intelligent, I'm skilled, and all these different things, but I just was not. God wasn't the center of that. It was about me and my desires and my wants and me, and God wasn't there. He was there when I needed him to be there partially. It's like, every now and again, when I had time for him, when I had time for certain things, not that I didn't know him, not that I wasn't raised to know him, not that I wasn't raised to acknowledge him. However, we have choices. And at some point, God will allow you to hit rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And when you hit rock bottom, typically that's when you start to say, God, what did I do? Why am I going through this? Help me, Lord. Please show me the way. It's kind of how when they say, and I'm not gonna go into this, but that's kind of how when they say when people end up going to jail, they find the Lord in jail because you don't know what to do. Now, some people don't, but you get into that broken place when God breaks you all the way down. When you get into that broken state, now you start looking to God differently. And that's where I was. And I was in a very broken state. It wasn't that I wasn't gifted or talented, because the gifts, number one, come with no repentance. It wasn't that I didn't have the skill set and what I needed to be successful. I didn't have him at the center and as
Mm-hmm.
the head. And not that I wasn't taught it. So that's something that people may be going through right now. If you're trying to figure out why I'm not making it, why are things going wrong, you might just be a little misaligned.
Mm-hmm.
Your balance might be off. Your balance might be completely off. And some people just don't think about it. And it's like it takes somebody may see this live tonight and say, you know what? I've been going through stuff. I've been dealing with the same thing. And it's the same vicious cycle over and over and over again. But I heard them say tonight, ask God, what is it that's causing me? Show me me. What
Mm-hmm.
is it that's keeping me from being able to get to the next level? Why I can't get the flag? Why am I always coming up short? And I promise you, it is always going to be because you did not do a Matthew 6 and 33. He says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. It's not by your strength, it's by the grace of God that will allow you. And he tries to show you things. He tries to give you warning. He might even be speaking to you tonight. You see this and you may choose to ignore what we're saying and think because we don't look like what you want us to look like, because you may feel like we still being processed in the area, and so you can't receive. You talked about a homeless man. I ministered this. I said God will use a bum. Can he use a bum to give you word? He used the donkey to show somebody that there was danger ahead, and he kicking the donkey, and the donkey like, what you kicking me for? I'm trying to save you. You kicking me? If I was a donkey, I'd have been like, I ain't seen nothing. Ain't seen nothing, at all. You kicking me for no reason, walk into it. Don't you? Thank God he ain't using me like that. But God will use people and things to give you a message, and sometimes you just refuse to hear it. I used to say all the time, don't miss the message because you're listening, you looking at the messenger. A lot of people can hear you because they can see you. And when they see you in that state where you're not refined, where you're not purified the way they want you to be purified, they miss an important piece for them to get to the next level. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important that you pay attention and you truly ask God to help you in those areas and to show you and what is
Mm-hmm.
it that I'm supposed to be learning in this season. I'm going through this, God. Okay, now can you show me what I need to remove? And when God shows you what you need to be removed, it's hard. Lord, help me to deal with your will, because sometimes we'll ask God to show us things, but then we won't ask him. We don't ask him to help us deal with it, because when God will show you, like when God show you somebody, it might be somebody that's closest to you. You might be sleeping with the enemy. It could be a very close friend, somebody that you think is really close to you that needs to
Mhm.
be removed, that has some hidden agendas. And then when God shows you that now you're so broken because he showed you something that you asked him for, say, help me to deal with your will. Help me to deal with your will, God. So you can not be in a not stay in that state now of grief because he showed you what you needed to remove, what needs to be taken out and sifted off from the top so you can get to the next level. That's all I had on that piece.
Got you. And before I go to the next one, I want to also expand on what you said. Like a lot of people, sometimes when they go to jail, they find God. I was listening to Ti podcast earlier, and he was just talking about like when I that was one of the things that really shifted for him in his life is when he went to jail because he's seen people was the people you see people from a different perspective. I have not been in those shoes before, so I can't talk from that perspective. But just listening, and all you have is your thoughts. All you
Mm-hmm.
have is you and your thoughts and your conversation with God. And a lot of things that run a lot of people is these material things and people.
Mm-hmm.
Like when all of those things are stripped from you, who are you? Who are you? What do you
Mm-hmm.
have? And you realize that sometimes people are around you because of what you have. They ain't around you because they like you, especially if you're in that broken state. When you one of those people that's just, you know, one of those I did this people, I mentality. Sometimes the people that's hanging around you is around you because of what you can do for them.
Yeah. Or who
And
they
so,
figure that can get them to another level
yeah, so it's
and
based
don't
off of
realize
what
that
they
you
can get
do
from
that.
you. Mm-hmm. So you definitely have to get to that broken state of not really broken state, but get to that point like God, strip everything from me that is not you. I when people see me, I want them to see you through me, right? Their interactions. Okay. So the next thing is let's go to the next one. And number 4 says, once refined, the metal is ready to be shaped, used, and released. After the refining process, the metal is purified and prepared for purpose. It can be shaped into something valuable and distributed for use, right? So God is not refining you to make you look better. He's preparing you to be trusted, to be used and released to another level. So what we have to realize that everything that we've been through, it is to help us to be molded to that state where God can use us, right? So now after you've went through the process of the hurt, the pain, you've learned how to heal, you learned how to pick up your tools, right? To fight in the spirit. You've learned how to understand who you are. Now God can use you and allow your story to be used for his glory. To allow that every single test that you've went through to be a testimony to where God can use you to change somebody else. And know that it doesn't matter what platform you have. You may not have no platform. It might just be you and a coworker talking about your story, talking about your life, talking about how God has took you from here to here where was nobody but God. It could be somebody in the grocery store that you are ministering to. Just know that God can use you. I remember having a conversation with my husband some years ago, and I was like, babe, I know God is calling me to preach. And I'm like, I don't think it's going to be in a pulpit, but I know I'm supposed to do something to that aspect. I don't know what it is yet, but I know that he's using me in some type of way. And my platform is a marketplace ministry. Not only do I minister through the marketplace, right? When I do events, we had an amazing event this weekend. Shout out to Miss Alva and Miss Nicole for helping me. We all came together and put on an event together, right? Kingdom women collaborating. And through that event, talking about the tea, y'all, the detox tea, right? We still were able to minister We were still able to use our testimonies for God to get the glory. Like I talked about me being a teen mom. That impacted not the youngest person in the room, but also the oldest person in the room. Because she was like, I was that woman too. I had a baby young and I was still a baby. But she said, you healed more than what I did. I'm in the process now of
Wow.
trying to heal. And I want to say she probably was in her 70s.
Wow.
So not knowing how me telling my story could impact somebody else, and just like me, same thing for you. God has allowed you to go through some things through that refining process, and you may be still in the process. You may be on stage number 2 or stage number 1, but you're gonna go through that process in order for God to be able to use you to the full capacity so that you can reach those that you are called to reach. Because when you are in a broken state, you're not going to reach everybody that you need to reach because you're going to bleed on them with the trauma responses. So, sis, let me read it again and I'll let you expunge on that, right? So, number 4 says, once refined, the metal is ready to be shaped, to be used and released. After the refining process, the metal is purified and prepared for purpose. It can be shaped into something valuable and distributed for use.
All right. Once refined, the metal is ready to be shaped, used, and released. That's big. That is very big on that. And like you were just saying, you have to go. You first of all, I'm gonna just you just talked about the lady being in her 70s and not healing. A lot of times, people don't know where to turn sometimes. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they might go to church, but that spirit of guilt and shame will riddle them. And that's what the enemy will do. He'll try to keep you into a place of guilt and shame because somebody talked about you and said that you were never going to be nothing. And as you know, what you just did, you ain't going to never be forgiven because man won't forgive you. Man don't forgive easy, but God does.
Mm-hmm.
And God really does. And He will give you true peace that surpasses all understanding and joy that is
Yes, he
unspeakable.
will.
I'm a living witness to it. I used to deal with guilt and shame for so many things. And it's like now at this point, you can't tell me nothing. I'm not concerned about you, what you can say about me or what you knew then and but you don't know me now. I'm not the same person that I used to be. I don't even remember half the stuff that you're talking about. And shame on you if that's all you remember, because it just shows the person that you are and where you still are. A lot of people get stuck in guilt and shame, and they think that they can't move forward, that God is not going to forgive them, that God can't use them, that God can't refine them. It was so many. He didn't have perfect people in the church that he walked with. He didn't walk with those types of people.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus had a team of thugs, prostitutes,
So
killers,
did.
liars, backbiters. He said he used the foolish thing to confound the wise. And one thing I can think of is the lady that was caught in the act, of sin. She wasn't by herself. Number one, she wasn't by herself in that process, but Jesus looked around and said, "He who is free from sin, cast the first stone." Ain't nobody do nothing. They
Mm-hmm.
couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people get caught up in one particular sin that they can see on an individual and they like to point that out, but they forget about all the hidden things that they've never dealt with that somebody else can bring up on them. And that's where, again, where people get stuck because somebody just threw guilt and shame on them and they never knew how to get out of it. Back in the day, going to a therapist or to a psychiatrist or a psychologist riddled you as crazy. Thank God now we have coaches and we have platforms like this and we have private platforms to help people because it's a season where you really can be healed if you want to. You can seek people because a lot of people, what they do is they stay stuck in that place. They stay stuck in a bitter, broken place, and then they can't go forward because, like you said, you bleed on other people. They hide, They don't want to come out of those things, and they stay stuck and bound. Self guilt, yes, self guilt will keep you in a place. And I was in a place where I was in a very low place at one point, and it was truly, it wasn't until I had to go through finding people. God put me in a place where it was people. It was a small, it's a small setting. I belong to a small ministry, and I choose the small ministry because it was that small ministry that showed me love. It was that small ministry that allowed me to grow and to worship freely and to love on me, to help me, so that way God could truly refine me. Because if I was in a place, if I went to a place, number one, if I went to a huge place, number one, nobody would be able to recognize me. And I don't mean anything against mega churches or large churches, but God knew that I needed something small in that season of my life because I needed to be seen and not judged. I needed to be able to talk things out and go through the process of being refined, of going through that fire, of going through where things are rising up, and so I can see what needs to come out of there, and then continuously go through the process and be held accountable and be pushed. Some people don't want to be held accountable when they get rebuked or when they get told they got to do something. Now they mad and with everybody, and then they back away, and then you
Mhm.
want to tell somebody how they should do things. Get out of here. We've got to be healed and be set free from in certain areas so we can move to the next level. The refining is necessary. It's very necessary. I talked about the potter and the clay, and letting God just put you back together again. And God can do that for anybody that allows Him. If you stay stuck in a place, if you're somebody right now that's going through something in your life and you've done something or you've been in a situation, there's nothing too hard for God to do. And there's nothing that God won't forgive you of except blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. He said that God will forgive you of every sin. You think I'm concerned about a man or a woman that got a problem with me? I don't care about you at all because I don't need your forgiveness. Thank God we don't have to go through man for forgiveness. I'm gonna
Mhm.
forgive you quickly and leave you right where you at in your bitter, broken state and keep on moving because God will forgive. As long as I come to Him with a humble heart and I tell Him all about my troubles, I don't have to tell man about my troubles. I used to talk to men about things and females about things and this and that type of stuff. I don't have no conversation for that no more because people take that and then they manipulate certain things. But it's nothing like having a conversation with your father. It's nothing with having a conversation with the father that will refine you, that will shape you, that will mold you, and then he's the one that's gonna give the promotion. That he's the one that opened doors that no man can close. See,
Come on
man
now.
close faces all day long. Man get joy out of closing doors. Hey, baby, man could close whatever door they want to close in your face. But when God closes a door, He's doing something for you. I count it
Yes.
as, see, we get upset when man closes the door, but really we should be rejoicing because that God allowed that to happen.
Mhm.
You know that God getting ready to open a door that no man can close. Man close the door, but when God closes the door and opens the door, no man can do it.
Mhm.
So, but you don't get to that point. You don't get the open doors until you get the process. You get that healing because God can't do that because then you'll be in a prideful state of thinking, okay, God took you to this level. Now you sneering down and looking down at other people. And that's not what God wants. When He elevates you, it's for you to be able to educate people by your testimony. See, we overcome by the word of the Lamb and by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And so now when you get to that next level, your testimony is to tell somebody how you got over. And that I was in a dirty, filthy state. I
Come
was in
on
a
now.
I didn't think that I could be forgiven. I was riddled with guilt and shame. I was in a place where I didn't think that I was valuable. I was beat up, I was crinkled up, had been battered and bruised, but God saw fit to where He put me back together again.
Mhm.
I finished something, and I'm gonna be quick with this part. I was talking about how there was something that we had in the box, and the base part of it was broken. There's a piece of it that's broken, right? And so on that piece, I'm like, okay, I can put this together. I can just get some gorilla glue and put it back. But me, because I know, and this is how man is, because I know that I glued it back together, I'm gonna be able to see that little line, and that's what man does. They can see that little line, where some sin was. They can see that little line where there was something broken. Something was broken here. And because you didn't get the right healing, you always know, and they always know it there. That's like your past. They
Mhm.
know it was there, right? I remember when you did. Trust me, if you do this, if you even think about trying to be successful, I'm gonna release this photo. I'm gonna put this video out there. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, right? But when God does something new for you, you won't ever be able to see the light.
Mm-mm.
You won't even be able to see because He makes it whole. It's brand new. It's completely done. It's total restoration. When you try to do it by yourself, you're gonna always remember that little piece that was broken in there. That's that residue. That's the piece where other people gonna remember as well. But when God does it for you and you allow Him to do it, he gonna make people forget about it because He gonna shift them people away from you anyway. And you'll
Mhm.
be so far gone and on another level, you won't even remember. Like it's some things I have no clue of. And you remember when I'm sorry, I don't don't. I'm sorry, I really don't. What's your name again? I don't even remember you because people that I might have talked to on a day-to-day basis, you just completely gone. Like, where did these people go?
That part.
No idea. Well, I don't even remember what your name is. I don't do that. And then they be like, you trying to be funny. I'm really not. I just don't remember you because God made He made it new. He
Mhm.
restored my mind. He
Mhm.
created me a clean heart, a renewed mind, and a righteous spirit. So I don't even know you. I don't
Mhm.
remember. Because he erased it. He put it into when he forgave me and put it into the sea of forgiveness, it was washed away. We're the ones that go back and try to pick stuff up.
Mhm.
That's all I got on it, you know. I know I don't know what else to say.
Do you? Don't you? Yeah. And so before I go to this next part, I want y'all to put in the comments, God, use my story for your glory. God, use my story for your glory. Because at
I
the end of the day,
think I'm thirsty.
that's what God wants you to do. You thirsty, huh? You thirsty for the Lord.
Yeah. I'm like, I got this light on, it's got me. I feel like fanning in here. I need a
Oh
chest
Lord, you
fan.
Jesus, Jesus. Okay. Let's God use my story for your glory. Okay. One of the biggest things that I want to talk about, because we are about to get ready to wrap this up because we are 7 minutes from the top of the hour. Well, from our hour. That forgiveness part is just so important, y'all. That forgiveness part is so important. Y'all have to forgive, forgive, forgive. I don't know how many times it's said in the Bible, but you have to be willing to forgive people. Unforgiveness will have you broke, busted, and disgusted. Unforgiveness will have you sick. Miss Al would say high flashes. That's what she over there experiencing, some high flash from that light.
Trying to keep myself together. I need anything to fan me right now.
But unforgiveness will have you sick. And so you have to go through the different phases of your life. That's why healing is so important. If you really, I'm about to plug this in, right? So if you really haven't went through your healing process, like intentionally done some work, right? To heal, to release those things, you can start with my 3-day digital reset course. You can click the link in my bio on Facebook. And it will help you to go through the process of forgiving. You know, a lot of times we go through life and somebody may wound us or hurt us, and we never do the work. We just put it in the back of our head, right? Or we create a boundary, not even a boundary, but we have a wound now. And that wound continue to be open when somebody else do that same thing to you. And so you have to understand that it's not about them. It's about you. When you make a decision to forgive, it's not about the person that has wounded you, the person that has hurt you. The people living their life. And I don't even care about you. Just like Toya says she can't remember you, they don't remember what they did to you. And they living their life. And you over there stressed about what somebody did to you. Y'all, people are going to be people. They're going to hurt you. One, hurt people hurt other people. And if they don't even know that they hurt, they're going to continue to hurt people. Every
Mhm.
relationship that they come in, they're going to hurt people. Every person that they encounter, it's going to be something that they're going to leave and hurt them with. I don't know what this, I listen to a lot of personal growth and development and different people, and I don't know who I heard say this, but when somebody experience you, do they have to experience you more than one time to be like, oh, she made an impact in my life? Just that on that one encounter? Or does it have to be multiple encounters? Because, see, when God is within you and when you have done the work to heal, when you have come out of that full refining process where God is really using you, when you encounter somebody, they can be like, oh, I remember her. I remember her. They used to call me Smiley back in the day because of my smile. My sister was talking about that earlier, talking about her smile. It's something that just draw people into you when you really have the light of God on the inside of you. When you are not dimming your light, when you are truly walking in what God has called you to walk in. One of the things I went to the movies last night and I was watching the Michael Jackson movie. And he was like, yeah, I'm not going to allow anybody to dim my light anymore. I'm different. And I know that I'm different. And I'm going to allow, he said the creator, but it's God. I'm going to allow God, right, to use me to bridge these people in the way that he's called me to do it. And so that's what God will do. He will allow you, right, to bridge the people that you are supposed to bring together, to bridge together, right? To come to him, to his kingdom. Because at the end of the day, God created you and he created me to be disciples into his kingdom. And the way that we do it is what God has given us, that skill set, that gift that he has given us to use so that we can impact the kingdom of God. So allow God to use you. Allow God to use your story for his glory. Go through the process of forgiveness. Go through the process of all of the work. And it's not easy, but it's so necessary. It's so necessary. And so as we close this thing out, we got 2 more minutes or 3 more minutes. Toya, is there anything else that you want to say on tonight when it comes to the refining season, the refining process, or anything else that you want to say, my sister?
I would just say that forgiveness will set you free.
Mm,
And that's when you will see yourself truly refined. Forgiveness will set you free. It's not for them, it's for you. If you want freedom in every area of your life, I didn't say you gotta forgive them and still fool with them. Forgive them so you can be free.
mm-hmm,
That's what I'm going to say. And that way you can also be able to, you can receive when people tell you things, you can hear things with a different pair of ears. And when it's time for you to build your business or whatever it is that you're doing, go forth in relationships, in friendships, in job shifts, you can be seen totally different and you will be able to go to the next level and people can tell and they can feel the newness on you. It's attractive. You see, if you're repellent and people stay away from you and don't want to be bothered with you, and it's always a problem, and it's not everybody else. I'm here to say it's something within you that you need to get checked. And so, if there's something like that, if you're always going through something, then you're probably sending out something in the universe that's saying, "Run from me." There's a
mm-hmm,
signal that's being sent, and there's a signal out there, and when you forgive you can be free, and then you can move to the next level. You have a totally different look. People that harbor unforgiveness don't look nice, because you can see that spirit of anger and bitterness, and and everything else on them. But when you're free, that's when people can say, "Oh, I see she had a different glow about herself, or he had a different glow." And so God can refine you, and you can be used the way that God wants you to be used when you're free. And that's all I have.
Absolutely. And so, you guys, as we're closing this thing out, I just put in all of the platform, all of the places where we're streaming, because we're streaming in multiple places on tonight. Make sure you guys go like and subscribe, right? So whatever video you are watching right now, make sure you like it. Okay. You also can share it, you guys. You are welcome to share this video to somebody that may need to hear it, and subscribe to our channel. Um, Once you subscribe, come back. Don't leave right now, but come back after we hang up, after we hang this thing up. Come back and say, I subscribe to the channel, right? And so know that you guys were created for greatness. You were. No matter what your life may look like, God created you for something super amazing. And know that that down season that you are in, it is building you for what God is taking you. And if you are watching this and you are judging people based off of the brokenness that they may be experiencing, do not do that. Allow them to emerge into who God has called them to be, and treat them like the person that God has called them to be. Love them in their brokenness. It's not easy to love somebody in their brokenness, but it's required. God gave me an assignment to love somebody in their brokenness, and it has not been an easy job. But guess what? If God told me to do it, I'm going to do it. Because guess what? I was broken too, and somebody had to love me in my brokenness. And so that love and that kindness that you do for somebody else, you never know how it may change their life. It may help them on the road to becoming who God has called them to be. All right. So if you enjoyed this show on tonight, put a one in the comments. Make sure you guys come back next week. We scream every single week at 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are a late night talk show. So if you're in the bed watching us, it's all good. Just don't go to sleep on us. If you go to sleep, come back and put some comments in there and be like, oh, it was good, y'all. It was good.
They
All
always
right.
gonna say, "Love lifted."
What you say? You got to sing a
I
little
said,
louder.
"Love lifted me."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Love lifted me."
I
It
don't know.
probably still didn't go through. Every
It
time I
don't be
try to
wanting
sing
you to
the
sing
thing,
because you be going in and out when you be trying to sing, child.
mm, I don't know. I don't know. Y'all buy me a microphone.
Oh,
I tried
Jesus.
all kind of things.
You
I'm gonna
try
try
to,
another microphone. It don't never want me to when I'm trying to sing. It don't never want to work. But
it
anyway,
don't want
y'all
you to
go
be
ahead and
great.
subscribe.
It don't want you to
Nope.
be great. But we're gonna be great.
Regardless.
All right. Y'all come back and see us next week. Thank you guys so much for subscribing and watching. And we will see you guys on episode number 4 of Unfiltered Tea with Citi and Cheryl. Talk to you guys later.
Okay.